So the 2019 high school class obviously hasn't had as much hype as the last couple of years. Obviously, if you look near the top, the fact that it's ever changing and pretty much every one of the scouting services has a completely different top 10, it's obvious that there's no Zion Williamson, no RJ Barrett, no set really high players at the top. There's no even Michael Porter Jr. or Marvin Bagley in this class. But there is one player that everyone keeps asking me to make a video on, and that's a point guard for Oak Hill, Cole Anthony. And this video is going to be how good is Cole Anthony actually, and I'm going to talk about his strengths, his weaknesses, and whether I think he's going to be a great player at the college level, and do I think he'll be an NBA star, and what type of player I think he's going to end up becoming. So before we get on to the video, I'd just like to say I'm doing a daily December. We're uploading a video every single day, and today is actually the 20th of December, so we've got another 11 days after this, but it's crazy that I've managed to do this 20 days in a row, especially because I don't think I'd upload 20 videos in 2018 before this month. So if you guys like basketball content, subscribe. Also, we are trying to hit 85,000 subscribers by the end of the month. We're at 82,000 right now, and who knows, we could end up hitting 85,000 by the end. That would be absolutely unreal if we managed to do that. But anyway, now let's get on to the video. So I'm going to start by talking about the strengths of Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony is an extremely springy athlete, and he actually uses his athleticism quite well. Going to the basket allows him to finish really well, it allows him to dunk on people, it allows him to finish well in transition, and it means he's not going to get blocked as often as he would if he wasn't as athletic, obviously. On defense, his athleticism allows him to be quite a decent help side defender. It gives him a little bit more leeway in terms of his ability to recover because of how high he can jump. And with his great instincts on defense, his athleticism allows him to play passing lanes really well. And I think it's something that would allow him to be a great defensive player at the next level. He's also got a really quick first step, and he's got great quickness and allow him to get by his man in isolation. He's also a really good pick and roll player, very unselfish, willing to pass the ball to teammates, and does a good job finding the open man. He has a very polished offensive game. He can score from pretty much everywhere. Obviously, he can score quite well at the basket. He can dunk on people. He's got a good mid-range shot. He's got a good pull-up jumper. And at the high school level anyway, he's around a 40% three-point shooter. He's going to be a good mid-range shooter at the next level. However, it's still yet to be seen how his three-point shot is going to translate at college, and more so than anything, how it's going to translate at the NBA level. He's got a high enough release point on his release, but he does have a really weird positioning of his offhand, which is almost over the ball. Again, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. I don't think that that's going to be something that makes or breaks his shot or something he's going to have to fix. It just looks kind of awkward. And you just never know with someone with an awkward looking jump shot how it's going to translate. So now we're on to his weaknesses. And honestly, he doesn't have that many. His biggest weakness is his size. He's only 6'2" and his wingspan is like 6'5", so honestly he doesn't have great length for the point guard position. However, his athleticism does make up for it. He's so springy that even though he isn't as long, he will still be able to do a lot of things that taller point guards can do. While he is a willing passer, he's not the best passer, but to be honest, that's something that's the case with almost every high school point guard. At his size, he may not have the ability to switch at the NBA level, which is something that's very important. There's a reason why point guards are getting taller and taller, and teams are starting to use taller and taller point guards, because teams do like to switch everything, and I think that's something he's not really going to be able to do. Obviously, there are some concerns about his decision making, but again, he's a high school player. There's very few high school players that already have NBA level basketball IQ. Again, Lonzo Ball is probably an example of one that has been kind of NBA ready IQ wise in high school, but there's very few. And I think a year in college, wherever he does decide to go, as well as a little bit of a learning curve in his first couple of years in the NBA, and I think he'll be fine IQ-wise. I don't think it's going to be a problem in the long term, but again, right now it's a little bit of a problem, but it's a problem with almost every young player that I'm going to talk about in one of these videos. So how good is Cole Anthony actually? Cole Anthony, obviously, as a guy who's #1 recruit in some recruiting services and a top 5 recruit in most of them, is a really good basketball player. He's got elite athleticism from the point guard position. He can do pretty much everything you want from a point guard on the floor. He can handle it. He can shoot from deep. He can shoot from mid. He can go to the basket. He can dunk on people. He's a great player in transition. He gets back on defense. He plays hard. And the only reason I think he may drop out of top 5 in the draft is that he's only 6'2" at a push. And teams might kind of pass on him for that reason. That's the only reason I could see him possibly dropping in the NBA draft in 2020. Unless, of course, he's a terrible freshman year in college. Because again, you just never know how people play in their first year in college. Most projected Duval from Duke last year to be a lottery pick, and in the end went undrafted. So you honestly just never know. He's a player that I believe is going to be a high lottery pick in the NBA draft in 2020. However, at the same time, he's not really a player I can see having a really great NBA career. There's very few guys at his height that aren't elite shooters that have a really successful NBA career. I think he's going to be an NBA player. I just don't think he really has superstar potential in the NBA. But then again, not many players that are probably going to be in the 2020 draft do have superstar potential, from what I've seen anyway. So anyway, that's the video. He's a great player, obviously, and I'm almost 100% certain he's going to make the NBA anyway. He's going to be one and done, and I think he's probably going to have a decent enough NBA career. I just don't see superstar potential. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.